All right, guys, like I've mentioned, I'm late. I'm very sorry. Welcome, and it's better late than never. So we shall get straight into it. Today is the 26th of May, and welcome to the Wednesday's midweek analysis, midweek webinar as well by Bretton Financial Trading Academy. My name is Kenny Simon. So we've got quite a bit to talk about, especially in the markets. We've already in midweek right now, so we need to talk a lot about trading opportunities, get into the market and look at which ones are moving and what are already moving, where are we standing with it, what are our entries, our exits, do we actually hold them if we have already traded? So a couple of other things. So midweek type trading webinars is usually just troubleshooting as well as looking into what we can actually achieve straight away. So yes, you're right. My camera is turned off. Let me just, I've got my cap on today, my trading thinking cap. How are you guys doing? All good? Okay, so let's get to it. Before that, I want to just talk a little bit about a couple of things that has already happened, and mainly it's got to do with gold rising up. It has hit all 6 TPs, which is really good news for all of us that has actually ridden this entire blue zone, basically. So the blue zones are usually a very high probability zone that I have done loads of research in, and I take my time to actually plan it carefully, like a hunter for a big animal, not a hunter for small animals. If you're a hunter for small animals, basically you get your heart and your eyes pumping a little bit more than hunting big animal. Big animal, you need more waiting time, but it's more worth it. This is exactly what I'm talking about here with trading gold, as well as CHF JPY. It was almost the same type approach or methodology in trading. So once it enters a blue zone, so we want to then just let it hit all the TPs, and you need to plan your stop loss properly and basically just ride along it. And that's basically what would actually help you to gain a lot more by trading less, actually, because you are trading one pair, but then you've got so many TPs to hit. But of course, it will take a bit of time. But meantime, you can always trade, at your own pace, more currencies, more pairs. That's not a problem because individually, we all have our own goals as well for the day. And we have our own sort of trade plan that we want to achieve, personal goals and everything else. Okay, so that's fine. So that's for gold, and congratulations for those who have actually hit it all the way through TP1 to TP6. So 6 TPs has all been hit. It took a while, but definitely worthwhile for that long wait, but not really that long as it's got the volatility in it. It's got what do you call that? Liquidity in it. So it really was quite good, actually, the trade on gold. So that's on gold. And we want to also take a look at oil and various other instruments. But just before that, just to let you guys know that we are still experiencing the treasury yield. The 10 years bond in the US dropped. So that is what has been pushing the price for gold upwards. So this is where I would like to point you out to the fact that if we come to a blue zone or a red zone, and let's say I have analyzed it technically, sometimes the technical side of it could actually decide what could actually happen to push it up or to push it down. Like, for example, we didn't know that it will be a continuous trend for the treasury yield to keep falling. We didn't know that it's got more pressure for the US dollar. We didn't know all that. But then weeks and weeks ago, even as early as a month and a half, which is when I started doing this blue zone, started to actually look at it at the blue zone. Then only about a month ago, then I published this and basically give you guys exact TP prices to take. Now, before all these happenings that are fueling the gold to go up, basically everything has got to do with US, in the US, and the treasury yield, their inflation rate, and various other things, right? So when I started looking at the potential of the blue zone and looking at all the price action, psychological levels, all kind of stuff, then I realized that it has an opportunity. But then I just thought that we need to actually wait, and then I look at the patterns as well. So the patterns, the geometric patterns, is more like a dessert to the main course, not as a main course or even the appetizer for the main course. So what that means is that the geometric patterns only can come last or later on, and it's not the first thing that you actually look at and straight away look at patterns, because the geometric pattern could actually be a very nice finishing touch or confirmation tool to actually make it even better. So that is why it got really sharp as well with the geometric pattern, and the end point of D point actually confirmed the lines that I have already drawn from before. So that was where I got that confirmation more and more and more. I checklisted things that were confirming the ability for gold to actually go up much more. But of course, that is on the technical side of it. And then I need to add on to what is ongoing in the news and fundamental side of it as the fuel week by week, day by day to feed that. And that is what we see a good and nice marry of fundamental and technical analysis. So this is what we're going to do for all the instruments as well, including oil, copper, silver, whatever that you are trading on CFDs, on your MT4 platform. You can actually do that by identifying blue zones, red zones with me, basically. So I'll be your guide in looking at that as a big picture first, and then we cut all the potential TPs into smaller bites, and that's basically the strategy. Okay, so if we come up with a blue zone or a red zone, what usually happens is that I would need traders to be capitalized well. That means they need to have that good equity, right? So that they don't need to keep topping up and then falling into the trap of hitting SLs and stuff like that. So usually if it comes into high probability, low risk trade, then we just leave the trade and we decide on the stop loss. And usually the stop loss, I would stretch it a little bit bigger if it comes to high probability and low risk trade. So if I come up and tell you guys, mainly all the students out there and traders, that I am now looking at a blue zone or red zone and a high probability area and low risk area, then you could actually literally just do all your pending orders and just don't stress yourself into monitoring it all the time and things like that. You don't need to do that if it is a high probability, low risk zone. And I will tell you that if it is, then you don't need to monitor it. You do it on pending order, and you need to stretch out your risk, your stop loss level a little bit more, because you see, we ridden on this 6 TPs, but you guys also know it that there were corrections. Of course, there were corrections, but the corrections were not so big as looking like it's going to change a trend kind of thing. And that only happens if we are riding in the blue zone or the red zone, which is a high probability trade. Okay, so I just want to explain that to you guys on how to actually follow my guidance in terms of what type of trade ideas or signals that I give out. Okay. When you are actually, the equity is a very personal thing, but then, you know, if you are looking at trading gold and oil and silver and all that, that's basically it's going to stretch out your equity level to be more than 5K to be on the safe side. So usually commodity traders, those who are really keen in trading gold and oil, usually they don't trade too much on the currency pairs. But those who trade on the currency pairs, they can trade on the currency pairs, but they trade gold as well. They include that into the currency pair, but they don't trade other precious metal that are rare, like silver, copper, palladium, all that kind of thing. And they don't actually trade if they trade stocks and indices and they want to concentrate on commodities, usually it's a 10K type, what do you call that, good amount to start off with, because you're talking about a lot more volatility and it requires much more to open the trade. And this is actually just mirroring what the actual trades of theirs are. That means they are already stock traders as well. They are also trading gold physically. They're just doing this extra. So they, usually have that 10K, 10K, 20K, some even bigger usually, and they just want to concentrate on oil and gold, and they can afford to just leave it basically and then just write the TPs. And usually they only trade when there is a blue zone or a red zone, for example, and I point that out, and only then they trade. So it does not really depend only on how much you need to have, but it needs to also go very closely with how you want to trade. What is your style? Because the thing is that if your style is you want to actually trade more currencies, and you want to have that personal goal every day, then currencies and also include gold in it could actually help you to achieve that. If you have a very active objective of the day, let's say you want to have 5 trades, 6 trades, you want to have this much TPs and all that, this wouldn't actually fit trading gold and oil, because gold and oil may take more time, and it requires certain timing to actually trade it. Like what we are looking at oil at the moment, it's geopolitical driven. So if you want to have more active, for example, type trading with objectives, with goals per day, so that you can reach it per month, then I would suggest you can include gold into it, into your currencies, and currencies is the best to do that. Not even indices or other ones, because they are driven by certain type of events, and only when that event happen, then you will see the action in it. So that's why we have got 50K, 100K equity type trading, oil, gold, specifically commodities and all that, because they just leave it, they just leave the trade open for months, maybe 2 months, 3 months, maybe, things like that. So they can afford to do that, because they have cushioned, on their stop losses as well, if there is a correction. So that's why it's important. Okay. All right. Lot size, I mean, it is all individual here. Okay, so it's individually catered. So for those of you guys who are already connecting with me, I mean, you are asking me directly as well, which is much better. So because everyone has got different goals, different style of trading. I mean, we have in this room who trade currencies more, and then with gold, and we have some who don't trade currencies at all, maybe just oil and gold, for example. We have some that trade gold, oil, and also indices, but don't touch currency pairs. So it's quite different. Okay, it's quite different, because the lot sizes are calculated differently. The volatility of each one is going to be so different as well. And also your starting capital and your goals are also very different. So it's probably best if we stick to the plan of what we have talked about individually, with me, and that's basically going to be better, because if not, it'll confuse all the other traders as well, whereby different ones have got different instruments, different goals, different lot sizes and stuff like that. Okay, brilliant. So let's get going on to it. And at this moment of time, let's just also go on to a little bit of fundamentals. I have seen that Daily FX, for example, has been talking a lot about gold's rise, and coincidentally, it's talking about the Royal Bank of New Zealand as well. So I think we've got some nice trades on New Zealand pairs, if I'm not mistaken, because of the interest rate decision by the New Zealand National Bank.
Incoming mail.
Is more positive. They have hiked up or increased the interest rate, so that basically will push up the New Zealand dollar against the USD. So USD is looking really weak at this moment of time with all this treasury stuff going down. So that is pushing up the price of gold, pushing up all the major currencies basically with the USD. So we want to take a look at whether or not that is exactly happening at this moment of time in terms of trend, in terms of which pairs can we actually concentrate in this midweek as of today. So we've got top movers right here. And with the top movers, let's take a look and we start to pick out which we like. And as you can see, you know, we have got from position 1 right down to the 10th one. We can see that the focus has been NZD, 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 and we've got more than half here concentrates or focuses on NZD. So we want to take a look at what's going on with NZD, whether or not NZD pairs have got some opportunities for us. And this is important for us to know. Oh, give me a second, guys. Let me just, not sure what happens. Okay, I've got chat here. We can definitely, but just give me a second. Let's go on to the fundamentals first, and then we want to always look at what can we pick for now based on what's going on, and then we can look at the pairs that we want us to look at. Okay, so we can do that, not a problem. Give me a second. So we've got the top 3 here: NZD, JPY, Euro, NZD, and NZD, CHF. So there must be a reason why we have got NZD pairs focused on, and then the top 3 is NZD, JPY, Euro, NZD, as well as NZD, CHF. So these are probably pairs that we want to focus on as well. As of today, as of now, especially before the London Open as well, we want to look at why traders are focusing on these pairs. Then we're going to look at a little bit on the trend as well, or currency heat map as well, the action bias section, and then we're going to marry up with some news factor. So here, as you can see, the generic heat map here on Action Forex itself, I think it will also mirror the one that you have on the early Forex early warning heat map as well. So as you can see, all pairs here are weaker against Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. So this gives us a hint that the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar seem to be picking up in the strength on the upside. So there must be a reason. We don't know an exact reason as yet, but then we have seen the top movers as well. Why traders are focusing on NZD pairs today. You know, we've got more NZD pairs being focused on, and that's basically it. So later on, we'll take a look at GBP USD, GBP JPY as well, and also AUD JPY, suggested by Alfred. No problem, we can take a look at that. Just as a note, these are pairs that I don't see it being focused by majority of the big traders as of today, but we can take a look at that. Also, just to give you a little bit of an information in terms of economic calendar, we don't see any strong tight motivators or economic data releases that are favoring all these pairs at this moment. And there's just not very active high impact news, but high impact data, but there may be high impact news talking about the US, talking about gold, talking about a lot of other things. So the news side of it may actually be a bigger trigger as opposed to moving the market through economic data, because we don't really have economic data that are favoring JPY or GBP pairs as of today, and I don't see it actually moving too much. And also, if you look at these what do you call that, the heat map as well as the top movers right here, I can see that it's the same thing that happens with the news as well. The news are talking about pairs or currencies that are focused on here. So like you can see, NZD is the biggest, and out of 10, we only have one GBP cross right here. So it's not really the focus of the big boys. So we want to follow the big boys because the big boys are the one who will be setting up the trend. We can also take a look at NZD USD because we've got 4 dots right here, giving us a little bit of an idea that maybe the trend is clear on that side of it. And we want that as well because USD seem to be very weak. NZD has just released its interest rate decision to go up, and then it's all over the news as well as of this morning in New Zealand, talking about RBNZ, the National Bank of New Zealand, increasing rate, and then things are sort of picking up and everything else. And then coincidentally, USD and the US is very weak. So these are the good sort of combination. We can marry these two together: NZD USD, NZD JPY, Euro NZD. So, but we want to take a look first and confirm on the charts, and then maybe it will give us some clarity whether or not we should be trading them, whether we have patterns, we have some price action, does it have zones, blue zone, red zones, or not yet, for example. So this is what we want to do. We select them properly, following what the big boys are looking at, and then we can actually ride along and trade it properly. Okay, so there you go. So right now, let's just take a look at the action bias as well before we get straight onto the charts. We go onto the action bias section right here. Okay, and we can take a look down here and look at all these colors, whether we've got a straight line in blue arrow going up or a red line. So at this moment of time, not just yet, but we've got the first 3 right here. As you can see, NZD USD is just proving to be quite clear in its trend that it wants to go up, and clarity on each time frame as well is getting clearer and clearer. You've also got AUD NZD here on the downside. So if you compare AUD and NZD, AUD is much weaker or more bearish than the NZD. So NZD is definitely, keeping my eyes open onto opportunities with NZD pairs today. So now what I would like to also do is to go onto NZD and find the volatility, which other currency that NZD will move with that will be very volatile in the market. So I've got a 4-hour and daily chart right here. We go into NZD, we click onto that, and we get a bit of an idea which is best combination for NZD that creates a lot of movement, a lot of volatility. So that's NZD and GBP, as you can see, and NZD and CAD. So you've got GBP, the cross that I would be interested in would be GBP. If it comes to GBP, would be GBP and NZD. Okay, because there's got a lot of volatility here. News are talking about NZD as well. So we want to take a look at whether or not the trend is clear on that, and also NZD CAD, right? So we've got a few to focus on right here based on the big boys, based on volatility, based on news and various others. So I want to take a look at NZD JPY, Euro NZD, NZD CHF, NZD USD for sure, GBP NZD, and NZD CAD. And then we'll also take a look at the ones that you guys are interested in, including GBP USD, GBP JPY, and AUD JPY. All right, so you guys ready? Right now we can actually move on to the chart and see what can we actually trade. So let's just start off. Perhaps I want to look at the NZD USD first, just so that we know that, it's been encouraged by the news and various others first. So let's take a look at NZD USD. Now, this is how much it has actually moved, and this is on the 4-hour chart. So you can see that the strength has actually been there. Upside is sort of confirmed. It's really strong. And we look at the daily chart as well, becoming stronger. It's got a lot of potential, I think, more to the upside. If I'm looking at upside and more upside, I think it's got a lot of bearish, a lot of bullish candles that are on my left as well, on your left as well, as you can see as you look into here and here. We have got some other candles that are bullish, but most importantly, we are also approaching an area that it could actually reverse, but from the look of it, in terms of how the candle is moving with no wick at the very top, and it's on a weekly chart, it's giving me the idea that it has a lot of strength to the upside. Okay, a lot of strength to the upside, and it will be pushed above to beat the resistance and go over the resistance as well, because it's just no wick. If I go on to the monthly chart, I see no wick as well. I've got a wick to the downside, but I've got no wick to the upside. That basically means that it's got a lot of push to the upside. Now, this is only on the monthly chart. I don't mean that we need to trade on the monthly chart right now. No, but I'm using monthly chart to give me the data first to know how much power to the left by mother candles and how much distance more can we go maximum to buy. Okay, that's the most important thing, so that then I can come up with a nice zone for you guys and for myself to actually look at whether we are in a high probability trading zone or not. Okay, so there you go. So now the price is trading at 73.09, 73.10. So in my guess, it's quite simple. You just lay out two lines first based on the current price. You lay them out based on risk. Where could it potentially come down based on psychological levels? So because the price is trading at 73.10 at the moment, so as it goes up, it will actually meet the 73.20 psychological level. So you want to draw that line. That's one resistance line right there, and the other one is 73.50 as well, still on the upside. 73.50, just because the 73.20 price is just too close to the current price at this moment of time. So I just want a bit of an extra 73.50 as well, psychological level. Now, these are the psychological level acting as resistance, meaning that at any moment of time, because it's so close to the psychological level, it has the ability to actually come downwards, right? So as it comes lower, if it does come lower, the psychological number that it would actually be meeting is the 7300 psychological number. So you want to lay that out as well. Okay, there you go. So I've got that. And also a little bit lower, 72.737280 as well, just because it's just too close to the current price, 7280. Okay. So the lower psychological level is going to act as your support. The higher psychological levels are going to act as your resistance. So now the current price is just trapped in between some psychological numbers. As you can see, you have got these big ones, the upper bigger ones here, 73.50, 73.20 are your resistance. So it could go up there, any one of these lines are the two top ones to actually come down. But then as it comes down to 73.00, 72.80, these two could actually act as a support to push it up. So right now, if I want to look at, I can see that it's very clearly uptrend at the moment. The news is encouraging it as well. You go on to the top movers, it's also to the upside on NZD USD, but does it actually have strength? So what do you do next is to measure the strength of this trend. The trend is uptrend for NZD USD, but do we have to wait longer? Do we have loads of participants? And does it have strength to move? You need to actually then apply the ADX, which is average directional movement index. And then you want to look at whether or not the blue line here is above 25. So here on the daily chart, it shows that not just yet. Maybe the participants will come in maybe at the London Open, perhaps because we already have weekly chart showing strength already on the longer term. 4-hour chart also very strong. Shorter time frame also reasonably strong. So we only have the daily chart that it just about to go. So I think with the NZD USD, we definitely have strength building up. We have a lot of interest in buying the NZD USD. So For this one here, I think I am personally interested in trading a buy on NZD/USD, but where and when do we enter, and how do we actually, apply the pending order and basically trade with ease and still trade in a high probability, low risk environment. So what I would then do is I'll just go on either daily chart, weekly chart. I want to look to the left. I want to look at whether or not there has been any buying power to the left encouraged by previous buyers, and I want to see whether that actually exists. So here, for example, yes, we've got some bullish candle right there, some more bullish candle as well. So then I will start to look at changing this to red. This one here, I'll just change it to blue to indicate that these are support lines, like there on 7300, 7280 as well, support line. So the blue ones are your support lines, your red ones are your resistance lines, okay? But not right now, the direction that I'm interested in is a buy direction. So here, for example, I mean, if we're using these cluster of candles here as a point of reference, meaning mainly because we have two how we call that two mother candles right there, but we've got a bigger one right here, we've got a bigger fall right here as well. I can use that mother candle there as my point of reference. Give me a second. This one here, or not this one here, the one that, yeah, this one here, right? So this one here is a shorter mother candle, bullish mother candle right here. That's worth about 80 plus pips. I would think this is more than 100 right here on this bigger one. Okay, there you go. 147. So if we use this bigger mother candle to draw a sort of bullish zone, we can then get a bit of an idea of where we can trade the buy in within which zone. Okay, so there you go. I'll color it in blue. Okay, there we go. So we've got it in blue right there, right? Let's say we take these lines off. I'll keep the red line on because that's where we've got a resistance right there. So at this moment of time, it is trading at 73.05 or so. So what I would think is that, yes, we have got about 40 pips that we can actually make on a buy for NZD USD, but we need to exit at 73.40. Okay, so I know you guys will ask me, do you buy now, and is it better to buy? The answer is yes, because it's a blue zone already, right? So it's a blue zone. You can buy right now, but it's not a matter of right now more important than the right time. Okay, so for me, the right time to buy is not now. You can buy, yes, but it's your risk to do so. But for us, we want to achieve high probability trading. So it's not important for us to enter fast, it's to enter right. We want to enter right and we want to exit even more right. So that is how we make consistent profit. So here, for example, I would think that the better price to buy is 73.10. Okay, so now it's quite close. It's quite close to 73.10. Give me a second. I think my battery is running low. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so NZD USD, you've got a trade signal here to buy at 73.10. It's very close to the price already. You can still do a pending order if I'm not mistaken. So it's 73.05. So you can buy at 73.10. Now, let's say you buy at 73.10, your exit or TP price is 0.7340. Okay, so let me just write it down here. Okay, so buy at 0.7310 and TP at 0.7340. So this is about 30 pips or so. Okay, so this is a bit of a potential. We want to take it by stages. There may be more buying opportunity, but we want it to cross one level of resistance, and then we want to expand that blue zone later on based on other candles that has gone beyond. Okay, so we don't want to do that just now. But this is short-term trading, even though you're looking at the weekly chart, but because the zone is actually just the zone has been found from the weekly chart, because if you don't look into high time frame, you almost cannot find the big picture or the big zone that you can trade inside. Then what you can do next is you can then go on to lower time frame and plan your trade accordingly. As you can see, even lower time frame, it's been pushed by lots of bullish candle already. Okay, so then you've got it like that. And if you, this is the 4-hour chart, for example. Now, this is your current price. As you move a little bit to the left, it has gone a little bit beyond and above the very strong resistance right here, which is giving us a little bit of hint that yes, it's got more power as well. But we have already seen it from a bigger picture that there is power, and we already seen it from the ADX perspective as well, that there is strength on the upside. So this is what we want to achieve at this moment of time. Now, and after that, only then we look at whether they've got patterns and stuff like that, even on the shorter time frame. Okay, so there you go. This is on the 1-hour chart. It has already missed that mark on the resistance. That means it's gone above the resistance. Just going to color it red for a resistance line right here, and we push it right up there. So it has gone beyond 7300 already. So it has gone beyond this area, a very big area of fall as well. From that point down is 160 plus pips, and that's only in the 1-hour chart. And we have seen bigger fall on bigger time frame as well in that area. So it is, I think it would be not too bad a trade. At this moment of time, it is due for an upward movement in that zone anyway, because we've got a downward movement. We had an upward, downward, and then now it's supposed to be an upward movement. So that's your price, NZD/USD buy price, buy at 0.73, then you take profit 0.7340. So I'm going to do the same right there. Let's say I'm going to take profit 0.7340, and then stop loss as well. 73733 at the moment, 7310. So I've got it at 7260. Okay, that's just my personal choice of my stop losses as well, and you guys need to do the same thing. There we go. We'll see how that pans out. Okay, so there you go. That's already set up. That's for NZD/USD. Now, we'll take a look at the other pairs later on, but I'm keen in looking at riding NZD pairs. So I would love to look at the Euro and Euro NZD as well. That's for your NZD. NZD/USD, NZD/USD, that one there. Now let's look at Euro NZD. Okay, so we've got lots of very powerful mother candles moving. So that is a good sign that traders are going in, and we can see that NZD is really strong. Even though the trend is not very clear on the weekly chart for Euro NZD, let's just move on to shorter time frame. We can see that the lines are not looking very good. And let's see, Euro and ZD as well. But I can see that the bias is still to the downside for Euro. So Euro is weaker and NZD is strong overall. So NZD pairs are probably quite good for us to take a look at for today, especially just before London Open, during London Open, and also when US comes in. So I think we should actually focus more on NZD pairs so that we can actually ride along some good profits potentially today. And also because of liquidity and volatility that is helping us get to our TPs. So potentially, because here you can actually see Euro and ZD as well is just moving, quite a bit. This is on the daily chart. As it moves downwards, if I look to the left, of course, we've got some threats of support area, especially here by this mother candle right here. This mother candle, opening price of this mother candle here as a support, could be where the price could look into reversing as well, and that is at 1.6665. So as 6665 goes upwards, we are looking at the 80 psychological number, 1.6680. So I want to mark the 6680 area as well as the psychological number where you might see it reverse, even though the candle is really strong at the moment, because that's just how the market works. It needs to reverse, find a lower area to buy again. So we've got 6680 right here and these two lines. Now, when I put these two lines just based on this mother candle right here, you could see how it created a fantastic support area based on all these candles right here. It encapsulated all the price very nicely. So in my guess, this is going to be a very strong support. Now, we've also got this mother candle right here. We've got that support, that opening price of that mother candle as well could actually be a potential support area. So now we have got an area starting with 6693 or even 6700 onwards will actually be an area to be careful of. So that basically means that whatever you do, if you're selling right now, Euro NZD, if you're asking me again whether you can sell, yes, you can sell with the selling because of NZD, quite strong. But it's not a question, as I've mentioned, whether you can or not right now. The question of trading right now to buy and sell is a very dangerous question because it's to trade the right time. It's more important than trading right now. Okay, so this is what is important because for me, for example, I would rather wait for the trend to mature a lot more, meaning I would rather be a conservative trader and trade on the downside with more movement as it actually pierces through all these area right down, let's say, because I'm not really wanting to catch the small animals at this moment of time, because I would like to preserve my capital for bigger riding of more TPs, like when we are trading gold and the other currencies when we are into a red or a blue zone. So at this moment of time, there is a blue zone here, but the price is correcting at the moment coming in. So we are not sure. Maybe what it would like to do is come down lower. Maybe there is something that might actually trigger the euro to go up as well, because there's just too many support in this area. We want to know for sure whether or not this support will actually be broken, because this is quite a dangerous support area, meaning quite a strong support area. So even though we've got big mother candle, bearish mother candle coming down, telling us that Euro and ZD may actually be weak, we want to be careful because of that support zone as well. And this is on a daily chart. As I go on to the weekly chart, I can see that this support area just gets stronger and stronger because we've got more data. And as I go further to the left, I can see previous resistance became support, and then all this support has actually been supported by loads of candles going sideways, which are usually thinking area, thinking time for a lot of big traders, and then to exploit the price to go up. And we've got some very big area here that has actually gone up too. So we want to be really careful. Of course, we've got more falls as well, but at this moment of time, I'm not very impressed with the Euro NZD selling power, because if I look to the left properly, even on the weekly chart and all that, even on the monthly chart, let's say, I don't see beyond the price to the downside any very powerful bearish candle. We've got one there, but it didn't actually extend further down. So in my guess at this moment of time, there is something lurking with euro. Okay, so maybe there's a surprise news later on that will push euro up. Something positive would actually happen. We don't know that yet. Why? Because we only know that it's a lot of support level. So yes, you can sell, but then but then whatever you do selling right now, for example, you can take profit at 6,710 or 6,730. Okay, so 1.6710 further down, or you can exit earlier, TP earlier at 1.6730 as well, if you are selling now. And yes, you can sell now if you want to. But for me, I wouldn't sell now, mainly because I want to firstly tweak and trade rightly based on the trend and psychological numbers. So based on psychological numbers, if you are following the psychological numbers tweaking, it is 1.6756 right now trading price, and it's not a good price to sell. The better price to sell is 1.6740. So what I would do if I am interested in trading this for a sell on Euro NZD, I would do a pending order at 1.6740. So I would sell at 1.6740. I will take profit at 1.6710. Okay, so 1.6740, let me just write this down. Okay, we move on to the low time frame or the daily chart. Okay, we've got a nice bearish candle, of course, but it's moving in this bullish zone at the moment, and it might become, this support might become resistance, might become support. We don't know that yet, but at this moment of time, you can actually sell at 1.6740. Okay, so your pending order 1.6740, you sell, second, sell at, okay, and then your TP at 1.6710, okay, 1.6710, giving you a 30 pips potential right there. So that's the trade idea right there. It's not something I would trade as yet, but then, you know, that's why I call it a trade idea. If I have actually traded myself in front of you guys, then I would call it a trade signal, because I'm trading it as well. If it's just an idea and I've not done it myself, then I would call it a trade idea. Okay, so this is basically what's possible as well. Of course, we've got a huge strength in it, even in the daily chart, meaning that that downward movement is quite strong. We've got loads of participants to actually pull it down, but we just need to be careful where we exit, because where we exit determines our loss or our profit. Okay, all right, guys, any other questions? Okay, we can actually move on to GBP USD, GBP JPY, as well as AUD JPY before we go back to some more NZD potential if you guys want. So let's do that. Okay, so that's Euro NZD here. Okay, I'll just switch this one with first one on the list, GBP USD. All right, so let's look at the daily chart. And we can see that the GBP versus the USD, because USD is really weak at the moment, driven by all these treasury news that are negative. So we can see that the GBP is stronger, more bullish compared to the USD. So there may be some potential to buy, potentially, we don't know that yet, but most important is let's take care of the risk element first. As it goes up, because it's an uptrend, where could it actually come down? At the moment, it's trading at 1.4147. That basically means 47 is very close to 50 psychological number. That means it could potentially reverse there. So it's not good timing to buy now. For sure, it will be very dangerous to buy now. So it's 41.50, even though the trend is strong, yes, but it's all about the timing. It's not about buying or selling now. It's about timing. When can you actually buy and when can it actually reverse? If it's reversing now and very close to reversing, obviously you don't want to think about buying or selling now, right? So it's 41.50. And 41.50 is exactly on the price at this moment of time. So I'll just extend it a little bit to 4180 psychological number. So that's 4180. That is also a resistant area here, resistant area there, which is very safe for it to be at, meaning that no buying, no selling for now. But if you want to really buy and sell, you can only buy at 4160, which is 4150 and above, right? But then you will only be taking 10 pips there because you have to exit at 4170. So if you guys still want that, of course, by all means, but just to be safe, to exit at 1.4170. Your buying price will be 4160. Okay, or 55 if you want to take that a little bit lower, 4155. Okay. So, yeah, just in case it reverses sooner than expected, here what I could see happening is a potential cup handle pattern here. So it's probably due for a correction because the mouth of the cup has already been reached. So I think there is potential for it to reverse. If it were to reverse in a cup and handle kind of pattern, it usually reverses at least 50% of that top of the cup and bottom of the cup. So here I see it potentially reversing right down to 3950 area. Okay, so coming down to 3950 area at potential. So it looks like this is what it feels like doing, a correction first before it moves higher. Okay, for GBP USD. And overall, we can see that yes, it is moving higher slowly and things like that. But when you look to the left, it's just got too much resistance level here on the left. Now, this is quite a significant one because this is on a weekly chart, and that fall from, let's say the fall from here, oops, give me a second, from here alone, let's say, right down, it's 2,800 plus pips fall. So we need to respect that resistance area here. And it was motivated by loads of very strong bearish candle as well. Okay, so now we have got some bearish candle inside this area, which marks it as a very strong bearish zone in this area. Okay, so now I'll mark the bearish zone. So we may have some selling opportunity for GBP USD more than buying opportunity, in my opinion, because it's already entering bearish area. It has created a border at the very top as resistance as well. So in my opinion, it might actually be better for a sell. So you can sell now, for example, at 4140 area, and then look at certain areas for your take profit, and maybe at this area right here, 4090, 4140, I think 4110. So you can take profit and take about 30 pips. So you can enter right now, for example, for a sell, and then you want to take profit at 4110. Now, this is still risky in a way, but if you are measuring your risk properly, 30 pips, then you want to risk at least about 70 pips or 60 pips or something like that, and trade at $1 per pip, and just to see whether this is a suitable trade for you or not while the market is marinating more. So as it comes down lower, then I think you've got more opportunity for selling more, and then you can take profit much more here as well. So yeah, we want to wait for the price to fall much more, but as of now, short-term type trading, there may be some area that you can actually sell. So you can sell right now 4140, and then you want to take profit at 4110. That's 30 pips potential. So even on the 1 hour chart, you do have this whole candle here to support your decision of a sell because of the mother candle, bearish mother candle right there. Okay, let's see where this one ends. 4104. So if you take that 4110, I think it's safer at 4110. Yes. Okay, so 4140 sell GBP USD and take profit 1.4110, 30 pips profit potential, and make sure you also put your stop loss on there. Okay. Okay. All right. We will go next to GBP JPY. Let's take a look. All right, we've got a lot of fall as predicted as well as discussed on GBP NZD, which is really nice. So it's looking like we've got lots of potential for the sell for the GBP and other currencies, especially against the NZD. So NZD is looking really strong, and I think we may find lots of opportunities trading NZD pairs as well. Okay, so there you go. Now let's go on to GBP JPY real quick. Now we've got GBP JPY looking quite bullish on the daily chart, very strongly bullish actually on GBP JPY. So that does actually tell me that JPY is on the weak side. So it is not a safe haven type trading environment. It's more a high risk appetite. So most people are on risk on at this moment of time. A lot of greed in the market, I think, by the big boys. So they're buying and buying. So this is basically what could potentially communicate to me when we look at JPY getting weaker as well. So there's no rush into safe havens at this time of trading. It's more buying commodity currencies, buying oil, buying gold, that kind of environment. So it is more a risk on environment as opposed to a risk off environment. Okay. So GBP JPY, as I go on to the weekly chart as well, it's still looking bullish. But just an area to watch out for will actually be at this candle right here that has actually created a resistance area at 155.42. So we want to watch out for two areas. One is the 155.20 psychological number. Let me just put that one there. 155.20. Okay, and also 155.50, which is above a little bit. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay, so there you go. This GBP JPY, now it's trading at 153.98. So I would think that 154.00 is also an area you need to watch out for, where it could find resistance. So 154.00, mark that as well. There you go. Okay, so it's exactly at 154.00. So as it goes lower, then it'll find resistance earlier as well. Let's go on to daily chart. So it's already created that sort of a parabolic shape, and it's already protecting the resistant area right there. So making it a very strong resistant area. So that means, there's a very high likelihood that the price will actually start to fall, GBP JPY as well. There may be a reversal. We don't know that yet until it goes beyond 154.20 and beyond. So we'll have to wait a little bit for prices to mature a little bit, whether or not it'll attract more buyers in. As buyers come in 154.00 and above, 154.30 onwards, it will be better for a buy price, not now. So we need to wait a little bit for this. Okay. So there may be a bit of a 30 pips kind of potential. If you want to take that risk and buy at 154.10, you want to exit at 154.40, but it's not really a kind of trade that I would take at this moment of time. Is just to help out those traders who wants to increase their frequency in trading, or they want to actually trade more for the day. So this is basically a bit of a gap there. But then as I go into the weekly chart, it's just not giving me the power needed for more upside at this moment of time in terms of clarity of trend. So what I would like to do is just check with the average directional movement index. We definitely have got high interest strength for the upside for GBP JPY. It is trading more to the bias on the upside, especially. So I think we just need to wait until it goes to a certain level, and then we can find whether or not it is entering a bullish zone. But at this moment of time, not yet. It might want to correct first, then to buy low and go higher. Okay, so not just yet at this moment of time, maybe a little bit early. We just want to see the participation of buyers first, because at this moment of time, it looks like it wants to correct first, come down first before it goes up. So a little bit too early to buy for GBP JPY, but there may be potential to the upside, but not ripen yet. It's not ripe to do that. Okay, so that's GBP JPY. Okay, any questions, guys? Before we go on to AUD JPY as well. Okay. AUD JPY. All right, let's see. Okay, so AUD JPY, in terms of trend, it is again against the JPY. So JPY is looking quite weak. So anything against JPY looks stronger. So AUD is actually trading on the bullish side of it. But my concern is whether or not it will start to actually reverse. And it is at 84.68. As it goes higher, it'll battle with the closest psychological number at 84.80. So we want to watch that area as a potential resistance. Okay, there you go. Generally, it's on the upside, maybe potential to the upside after it has broken up 84.80 and above. I would think maybe 85.10 and above. Then we can look at whether or not it really wants to go up much more. Then we can start buying then. So above 85.00, then we can look at potential for AUD JPY for more buy opportunity. As I go on to, let's say, weekly or monthly, it's just that we're too close to some significant resistance potentially, but I don't see good, strong, bullish candle to push the price up. That's my only concern. I only have bearish candle, very strong one here. So I would guess that there is a very big bearish zone that basically starts from here all the way down there. So it's just a little bit under the current price at this moment of time. Let me just look at the bearish zone. Where did it started from? So let me just do that. Okay, so as I move this to this area right here, I can see that 84.20 and below. So I want to, once price falls to 82.20 and goes under 82.20, I think it will be entering the bearish zone much more, and it will pull prices a lot more. And also right down to this area right here. I'll just move it up a little bit there. Okay, right down to 68.80 area as well. So 68.80 there. So we have got a bearish zone, most likely worth about that's 1,000 plus pips actually. So yeah, it's quite a big zone. That's on the monthly chart. So if it starts falling, AUD JPY and AUD especially start falling against JPY at the 82.20 area, then something might, if something from the news, from the economic side of it, start to pull it down even more, fuel it to be more bearish, then we can actually ride it very nicely. And then I will be able to put in more TPs for us all. But at this moment of time, it's a little bit too early. We want to see what happens. So you do have a bearish zone starts at 84.28, but I don't take that. I just want it to be between 82.20 to 68.80 area, but that's still 1,000 plus pips. So if it start falling, there may be a reason to believe that you'll get pulled down a lot more with something out there that we don't know what will actually happen. So there is a potential, but maybe you'll reverse and go up as well. We don't know that. But if it starts to come down and lower and goes to 82.20, that basically means it's hinting us that something might happen in the market. News for Australia, something might happen. Maybe something that could happen with China, because China's economy, China's politics correlates positively with Australia. So if something negative happens there, it will impact the Australian dollar negatively as well. So there you go. We want to wait for some selling opportunity, but not just yet. But there may be a very big one because the potential is 1,000 plus pips. Okay, but of course we won't take that whole 1,000 plus pips. We'll take little by little, as much as we can. Okay. All right, guys. So that's basically it. Any other questions so far? You guys okay? All good? All good. If it's all good, then you guys can communicate with me directly for any questions. And also, if you guys are willing to share anything that you want to ask, feel free to just post it on either the Facebook or our Telegram group, and we'll be happy to answer them. Okay, brilliant. Okay, guys, with that, I want to thank you guys and hope everything's okay. Now, just before I go, we haven't touched on oil, but I've already given the oil sort of buy 66.90 and TP 73.10 as a trade signal, because I am also on it, but on pending order. And that's been shared in the Telegram group for commodities. Okay. All right, guys. So that's basically it's just moving with geopolitics at the moment, and it's driven to the upside bias much more than the downside at this moment of time, because lacking in the supply and stuff like that, and the demand is picking up. So that is most likely to happen, but let's monitor it from time to time. Okay, guys, with that, I want to thank you for your time, and we'll see you guys again on Friday's market wrap up on Friday. So with that, I want to thank you for your time, and also wishing you guys a happy geometric trading week. And we are in midweek, and for the rest of the day as well, happy pipping. Thank you guys once again. Bye-bye for now. And happy Wesak too. Yes, that's right. Thank you. Thank you very much.